There's an ant on my floor. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This was not the intended first video of this channel. I have a full scripted video on veterinary dentistry, which is more about what this channel is going to be about, but I went to see Jurassic Park Rebirth last night, and that's going to be the first video because wow, this movie is a movie that you can go see in theaters. So I didn't really know too much about this movie going into it. I'd seen the trailers. I didn't really know exactly what the plot was going to be, and I kind of stayed away from a lot of the articles written about it, press tours, anything like that. So I went ahead and grabbed myself an opening day ticket. I went to the 10:30 p.m. showing because I was already kind of going through my day, and I did want to go see it opening day, but I kind of feel like it came up, like the opening day just kind of came up out of nowhere. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, I don't know. But for a little bit of context, Jurassic Park is my favorite film of all time. I loved it growing up as a kid. I actually first started watching it on Nick at Night when I was supposed to be going to bed, and the scene where Gennaro is being eaten by the T-Rex scared me to death, and I went back and went to sleep, and I couldn't sleep that night because I had nightmares. But I watched it the next day and I absolutely fell in love with it. I love just about everything about, with that movie. I've seen every single film since then, as well as I've read both of the books, and Jurassic Park book is my favorite book of all time. It's really funny to me that people who really love the movies and the video games don't know that it was based off of a book. If you haven't read the book, I really recommend it. And also I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler free as I can, because if you do want to go see it, I don't want to ruin it for you. I think I'm going to make another video after this, kind of going through everything in the movie that I really want to talk about and touch on and dive into a little bit deeper. But once again, this video I'm going to try to keep it as spoiler free as I can, so you guys can go ahead and enjoy the film if you want to. So let's first touch on the whole movie-going experience. As many of us know, movie theaters have not been doing super well, especially since the pandemic. I haven't been to a theater for, man, a really long time now. And of course I went later in the day, so maybe it was different for the first couple of showings, I'm not quite sure, but I kind of thought, like, when we go to see premieres of movies, like, you like dress up and like it's like really cool. That was not the vibe. I was the only one wearing a Jurassic Park shirt. And the crowds in the movie were kind of non-existent. There did end up being a lot more people than I thought that were there, but definitely when I was booking my ticket online there was tons of open seats. So once again, that could just be the 10:30 thing. There could have been a ton of people at the other showings. But in my crowd, it was spacious. It was kind of roomy. I did go ahead and see this in XD because I really did want to give this movie a chance to be really impressive and on the big screen. Anything with dinosaurs, I tend to think, like, put it on a big screen. It's gonna be better. And I can tell you I would not want to see it any other way. If you're gonna go see it in XD. I think that seeing it any other way would be not great, because this film is not great. Okay, so I did go ahead and film before I went in and saw this movie, so I am going to drop that clip in and let you watch that. You'll see that this young lady who went to see this film was originally very positive about the film. I was hyped up. Even for it being late and I was kind of tired, I was ready to go see this film. I had all kinds of optimism. And, well, I also have a clip at the end of the viewing after I was done seeing the film, and, well, you can get my first-hand thoughts of 1 a.m. me talking about this movie. So go ahead and drop those two clips in, and, yeah, you can get the first-hand takes of those. Alright, y'all. I am here at the theater. a little early, but we're gonna see this movie, and I like really hope that it's good. I was not impressed with the last film, I will say that right off the bat, but this one's like real different. I don't think they're gonna do a bunch of like the nostalgia stuff, so maybe it'll be better. I don't know. But I'm going in with optimism. I'm not trying to be negative. And I mean, I got a ticket in XD too, so it'll be like a real, you know, intense experience, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know. And I guess we'll find out, because I don't really know what this movie's about, and I don't really know. I mean, I watched the trailer, but it's just like not, you know, it's just like not. But maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be good. So I'll report back. I'll let you guys know what I think. Okay, so I've returned from this movie, and it's bad, and I'm sad. I don't think it's irredeemable. I almost wager to say it's so bad it's good, because like when you think of Jurassic Park and like what would be missing from Jurassic Park, what do you think? Because if it's not aliens, then you're wrong. Because it needs damn aliens. And if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because I'm like, whatever. I'm not spoiling it. Go see it. It's a film that exists. And you can go to theaters and see it. What? Also, I will say, if you've seen at least Jurassic Park 1 and 2, otherwise known as Jurassic Park and The Lost World, and a little bit of Jurassic Park 3, and a couple scenes from, just Jurassic World. Did I say Jurassic Park? It's 1 a.m. I don't know what I said. Jurassic Park, Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World. You've basically almost seen this movie. It's basically almost every single shot is a shot from one of those other films. It's like almost incredible. Like, you're like, oh, they're going through a jungle, just like Jurassic or Lost World, and even parts of Jurassic World. They're going through a field, just like, oh, I don't know, Jurassic Park 3. Oh man, there's a little raptor and he's putting his little toe down. Just like, oh, what do you think? Jurassic Park, the OG. Like, so many things that, like, if you've seen it, you've seen it. But, like, I don't know. I had fun, I guess. Actually, I kept just, like, rolling. I kept just doing this. So, maybe I didn't have fun. Maybe I didn't have a good time. I'm just, wow. XD did not make it better. Maybe it did. I would not want to see this on just regular screen. It's bad, and I'm sad. I'm sad. Time to go to bed. So this film was bad. In my opinion, it was bad. To be fair, I haven't really liked much of the movies coming out from Jurassic World. I did like the original Jurassic World, but everything coming up since then, it's kind of just not been good. Like, they've just been very, like, spectacle and just not a lot of substance. And I think the thing that this film especially lacks is subtlety. Basically, when you go to see this movie, you know instantly by looking at the characters who's gonna die. You can pick them out immediately. That one. Dead. And it's not because, like, oh, well, they're not, like, lead actors. That's not the reason. The reason is because, like, all these other characters, like, they get to delve into, like, this big backstory. And like this one character, like in a scene that's muted, they're laughing with another character. Like there's no development there. Whereas like with the first film, which I'm gonna try to stay away from comparing to the first film, but from the first film, like for the lawyer character, he gets eaten, but he has a lot of screen time, he has a lot of development. Even though if you don't really like him as a character, you knew who he was. And same thing with all the characters in general of the original movies. I feel like you knew what that character was about, and so you knew, you know, their motives, their thoughts, what they're feeling, versus with this movie, like, they try to have these, like, deep emotional moments, but I kind of explained it to my mom. I was like, well, basically this is what happens. Sad or emotional moment, and then you gotta bring in the dinosaurs. And then you can have a sad, deep, emotional moment, and then you gotta bring the dinosaurs back in. Like, it's very, like, jarring, and the storytelling and the pacing of it was very, like, whoa. Even when comparing this movie to its original Jurassic World, I still feel like the emotional moments hit more with that film. And even when looking at the characters as a whole, even if you didn't like Vic Hoskins, I think was the main villain in that film, you still knew about him and what his motives were, versus these characters where most of the main actors don't really interact with these other characters who die. So it's not as impactful when they do pass on. I will say that I do like some of the shots of, you know, the deaths in this film. That sounds really, really morbid, but they were done really, really well for the most part. Not all of them, but for the most part, there was some cool things. But I do wish we had a little bit more connections with these characters. Okay, so let's talk about the characters. All of these characters are brand new to the franchise. There's not really anyone who carries over from the other films, which I thought was interesting, definitely an interesting take. It also takes place on a different island, different than Isla Nublar, different than Isla Sorna. It's completely different, which I almost want to call it like a discount Isla Sorna, because that's kind of what it is. It's like Jurassic World's Isla Sorna, if that makes sense, but like weirder. Obviously you've seen from the trailer, there is a new dinosaur that they have introduced, and it's interesting. I personally did not think that it was very good. I will go more into depth on that in the next little like spoiler review that I'm going to do. I didn't think that it was very good, and I think that they're really moving away from like what made the Jurassic Park movies good. And they do address it in the film, like they address how, like, you know, they even said this in Jurassic World, like, dinosaurs aren't cool anymore, like, nobody cares about dinosaurs. But I think, like, there's a point where, like, you get to where you're like, this is too much. This is too much. This is not right. We need to back up, because I don't care how, if dinosaurs were real and like alive, I do not care how many times people had seen them. The route that they went in this movie was not it. It was not it. It was not right. Like, it was, no. And it kind of makes it like a laughing stock, which is not good. So, characters, everyone's fine. The acting's fine. There were moments where they try to do like deep, heartfelt connections. I kind of said before, like, it's a little jarring because they'll be like, oh, this person died. Like, not in the mission, like, in their life, like, this person died. And then they're like, whoa, you gotta seize the moment. And then dinosaur. And I really didn't explain it well before when I said that. I don't mean like a couple minutes later. I mean like, bam, like right then, right there. Like, sad moment, dinosaur. Sad moment, dinosaur. Like, it's so jarring. It's so jarring. And I know they're trying to like bring bring the story along, but if you're gonna have a moment that is emotional, I think you have to write it really well, which I don't think these were written very well, and B, I think you have to like work it into the story more naturally, and that was not done. That was not done here, so not good, in my opinion. You might really like it, but I don't. Okay, so let's talk about the dinosaurs. I touched on it a little bit, but we're going to talk about the actual dinosaurs that are in the film. They did have some new ones featured this film, which were pretty cool. They looked really good with the exception of like their CGI, so depending on how you do that. But I mean like the models of them, they did look pretty cool. They have 3 that they go after in this film, and they're fine. They're fine. The one thing that I had a problem with was a little bit with the Mosasaurus, because like they're going after the Mosasaurus, and like, what do you know about Mosasauruses? They like swim, and they like dive, and they like bash things, and like every time we've seen them, they're under the water swimming, and then in this film magically they're trying to shoot the thing with stuff. I'm not going to spoil it. And it's just like swimming on the top of the water like for so like a really, really long time, and then it goes under the water, but then it's like right back up. You're gonna tell me this creature that swims like all the time, which by the way, it was going after the boat, but like the boat was here and it was like way over here, swimming like this. It didn't dive. It didn't dive. It did not dive. No. Also, it didn't look the same. It looked really, really different, so take that with a grain of salt. There are some things in this movie that are a bit preachy, I guess would be a way to put it. We all kind of know the vibe that they're going for, and they do make it very clear in the film what they're going for and the stance that they have on certain things. So if that's also not your vibe, this movie might not be for you. You might love it. I didn't think it was absolutely overbearing, but there definitely were points where I was like, cool, like we get what you're saying. And it's weird because I'll have a scene like that, and then they'll have another scene like not really right off the bat, but pretty soon off the bat of like kind of the exact same thing. And it's really only one character who has those views and has those opinions. It doesn't really super take away from his character, but it is something to note if that is something that bothers you. He's very just like, randomly out of the blue, just like, dinosaurs are treasures. It's like, okay, like, yeah, alright. And the one guy is like, I'm gonna shoot it so that you'll live, and he was like, I don't think he says it's a crime. I can't remember what he says, but he's like, it's like a terror or something to shoot them. I don't remember what he says, but it's very just like preachy, I guess, is what I would say. Which isn't wrong, it just definitely is something to make note of when watching this film. Okay, so let's give the movie some praise, because I'm going to be doing a lot of negative talk, and I want to give a shout out to at least one thing majorly. The one thing that I do want to mention would be the design of the Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs of all time. Actually, the Suchomimus is my favorite dinosaur of all time, which is a cousin of the Spinosaurus. And it did really impress me that they did research the new design of Spinosaurus, which is not the Jurassic Park 3 version of Spinosaurus, but they did go ahead and update what they look like and make them look like what we know of right now of what Spinosaurus looks like. And I do want to give credit to whoever researched that or however they implemented that, as it is cool. It is cool to see them implement that. I have a picture on my wall of a Spinosaurus skeleton, and it is not correct, but I do love them, and I love that they made them, the scientist calls them amphibious, meaning land and water, And so it was really cool to see them kind of exhibiting those behaviors that scientists have shown us that they are most likely to have been performed. Obviously we don't know for certain, but I did like that little bit of lore, I guess? Science? Paleontology? I don't know. They also were hunting with the Mosasaurus, which I think is really, really interesting. Didn't really do anything with it. They were just kind of there, swimming around, attacking a boat, and then the Mosasaurus is there and then takes over. So cool to see two different species working together, I guess, but it was kind of just a throwaway thing, and they do mention it in the film as like mutualism. I don't know, like, it's cool, I guess. I will also say that some of the shots in this movie are pretty cool. They looked well thought out and well done. There's a mixture of like really good shots and really bad shots in this film, which kind of kept me engaged, because there'd be like a really good shot and then there'd be like what? Like why did they do this with this shot? So the good shots at least kept things interesting on my end to watch. I am not someone who knows much about film and cinematography. I did not go to film school, I went to vet school, so I can't really comment on things like cinematography and, you know, lighting, like, and score. But I do think that, like, as your average moviegoer, you will see different things in movies where you're like, oh, I just don't like that, or oh, I do like that, I like how that shot looks, and that's definitely something that this movie has. It has moments where it's just kind of pretty, you know? It's just kind of pretty, and it looks nice, and it looks like they took, you know, they put some thought into how they were going to set up their shots. The one thing they did do, this is a negative that I hated, is they had multiple shots, and there's one in the trailer, at least one, where they like set up an object to be like blown up in the frame, or like the focus of the frame, and then it comes down and then something's like missing in the background. I'm speaking of in the trailer, you'll see it in the trailer. The T-Rex is there, it's sleeping, there's this big raft, which in the spoiler alert we'll talk about the damn raft because it's crazy, and then it falls down and then the T-Rex is gone. I hate those shots. They did it so many times in this movie. So many times. It's not cool. I know they're trying to like establish suspense or something, but it honestly just looked really silly because of what we know about the T-Rex. Like, if it saw a giant raft, it's not just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go over here. You know, like, it's not gonna do that. It kind of implied in the movie that it like rolled the other way and like got up and like went to go get a drink or something, but it's going to notice a giant raft. It's going to notice a child with said raft. That's that. Like, those types of shots I did not like. I did not like those shots. Speaking of, I do think that a lot of the actors really did give it their all for this movie. I wouldn't say there's any performance that I was like, ugh. Well, the comic relief in this movie, for me personally, was not good. And that's that's just my own opinion. He got a lot of laughs in my theater, so obviously maybe I'm just missing out. But I just didn't think he was funny, and I didn't connect with him as a character, but he just kind of seemed like irritating, I guess. By far, not the worst comic relief in any of these movies, by far. I think Fallen Kingdom has that unlocked for sure, or like they're winning for sure, but he was just not it for me. He just didn't do enough to keep my attention. There are a lot of things in this movie that I really do want to dive in and touch more on. If you're interested, I will be posting another video of just more of my thoughts on this movie. We're going to go through as much of the movie as I can physically remember, going through each kind of detail. I'm sure the other movie commentators' videos will be up soon. I can't wait to see from some of those creators what they thought of the film. I know it's a little mixed reviews. I think it was like 52% for the critics. I'm very curious to see what audience thought. For me as an audience member, I probably would give it like a 40, maybe 35. I don't know. I wasn't impressed. I don't know where they're gonna go with this. There was a lot of loopholes, not even loopholes, there was a lot of plot holes. So there was a lot of plot holes in this movie, or things that just didn't make sense to me personally, and I don't know where you go with a story like this, but these are just some of my thoughts on the film. If you have seen it and you have thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you're trying to still go in with a spoiler-free mindset, I would recommend going to the film and seeing it yourself. As others, I encourage you to share your thoughts below. But these were, like I said, just some of my thoughts on this movie, and I hope you'll stick around for the actual veterinary content that I want to make. It should be out next week, but with that said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and tune in for more later. I actually think I should just like come in. There's an ant on my floor. So I did decide to grab myself a ticket and go see it opening night. I went at 10:30 p.m. Of course, why would you go any other time? They're obviously different in this film. They're even different from the Jurassic World characters. Chris Pratt is not in it. Whatever the lady's name is not in it. Completely new characters. Okay, so those are just some of my thoughts on this movie. If you've seen it, I would love to get your thoughts and your comments in the comments box. So these are just a few of my thoughts. Once again, love to hear what you have to say in the comments. With that said, bye!